For decades, we've all heard the same thing about dieting, right? It's all about what you eat. But what if that's only half the story? What if when you eat is just as, or maybe even more important? Well, today we're diving into the science that could totally flip everything you thought you knew about your own metabolism.
So let's just cut right to the chase. Here's the big question. Is a calorie you eat for breakfast the same as one you eat right before bed? I mean, for years, we've been told, yep, a calorie is a calorie. But what if the answer is actually no? Seriously, understanding this could completely change how we approach our health.
And this isn't just some interesting thought experiment. The stakes are incredibly high. Since 1975, global obesity has tripled. So whatever we've been doing, mostly focusing on what we eat, clearly isn't the whole solution. It really feels like it's time to find that missing piece of the puzzle.
And that missing piece? It's the time factor. So in this explainer, we are going way beyond that old, outdated calories in, calories out model. We're going to explore this powerful and honestly often ignored force that shapes our metabolism, the timing of our meals.
This revolutionary idea has a name: chrononutrition. Basically, it's the science of how our eating schedule syncs up or, doesn't with our body's internal 24-hour clocks. Think of it as the intersection of nutrition and your body's own natural programming. And let me be clear, this is not another fad diet, it's a deep dive into our own biology.
So how does this actually work? Well, to get it, we need to talk about your body's internal clocks. I want you to imagine a symphony orchestra playing inside you, right now. It's got dozens of different clocks all working together in perfect harmony to create the beautiful music of a healthy metabolism. And this internal orchestra, it's not just playing random notes. It follows a very specific daily rhythm, and that's what we call our circadian rhythms. These are the built-in 24-hour cycles that tell our bodies when to sleep, when to wake up, when to release hormones, and, most importantly for us, when to burn food for energy. Okay, now here's where it gets really fascinating. That internal orchestra has a conductor. That's the master clock in your brain. And its main cue, it's synchronized by light. But then you have all the musicians. Those are the peripheral clocks in your organs, like your liver and your pancreas. And what's their cue? It's not light, it's food. See where the trouble might start? And this is exactly where the symphony can just fall apart. Imagine this. You eat late at night. Your brain's master clock sees that it's dark and says, okay, everyone, time to wind down for sleep. But the food you just ate is sending a totally different signal, screaming at your organ clocks, hey, time to wake up and work. It creates this state of internal confusion, a total biological chaos.
So what happens when this internal orchestra is constantly out of tune? Well, this state is known as chronodisruption, and its effects on our health are frankly profound. Let's take a closer look at what happens when your clocks clash.
Chronodisruption is basically when our modern lifestyle goes to war with our ancient biology. Think about shift workers, or even just that late-night pizza habit. We're sending our bodies all these mixed signals, and the result is just a state of constant internal confusion. This internal confusion throws our hormones completely out of whack. I mean, the whole seesaw of our appetite gets flipped upside down. Ghrelin, that's the I'm hungry hormone, starts spiking at night, while leptin, the I'm full hormone, becomes less effective. It's a perfect storm for late-night cravings and weight gain.
And the science on this is pretty stark. One study on simulated shift work found that eating at night has this dangerous cumulative effect. As the researchers put it, it increases the risk of serious health problems. So we're not just talking about a bad night's sleep here. We're talking about a real threat to our long-term health.
But here's the good news. If eating at the wrong time can cause so many problems, then eating at the right time can be an incredibly powerful tool for our health. Let's look at what the science says about the real power of meal timing. So the key takeaway here is that your body is a completely different machine at 8 a.m. than it is at 8 p.m. In the morning, you are an incredibly efficient, sugar-burning machine. Eating breakfast just takes advantage of that. On the flip side, skipping breakfast has been linked to a 21% increased risk of heart disease and a staggering 33% increased risk of type 2 diabetes. The science is just so clear. Timing matters a lot.
And here is another just mind-blowing fact. This chart shows something called diet-induced thermogenesis, or DIT. It's basically the calories your body burns just by digesting food. And as you can plainly see, you burn way more calories digesting the exact same meal in the morning than you do in the evening. This right here is the proof. A calorie is not just a calorie.
We see this again in studies on something called time-restricted eating, or TRE. Now look at this table. Both the early and the late eaters lost weight, which is great. But look closer at insulin resistance. The group that ate earlier in the day had a much bigger improvement. The takeaway? Eating earlier gives you this incredible metabolic advantage.
Okay, so the science is crystal clear. The next logical question is, how do we actually put this into practice? And the great news is, you don't need some complicated, expensive diet plan. It's really just about making a few small strategic changes to work with your body, not against it.
Here are 4 simple steps to get your clocks in sync. First, eat breakfast. That's when your body is primed and ready to handle food. Second, try making lunch your main, largest meal of the day to fuel you when you're most active. Third, finish eating dinner a little earlier. This gives your body a nice long break overnight to rest and repair. And finally, just try to avoid those late-night snacks. Your body will absolutely thank you for it.
This slide really says it all, doesn't it? It's the tale of 2 windows. Eating early works with your body's natural rhythms, helping you burn fat and control your blood sugar. Eating late, well, it works against your body, promoting fat storage and increasing your risk of metabolic disease. The choice seems pretty clear.
So, what's the bottom line here? It's actually really simple. Aligning when you eat with your body's natural rhythms is a simple, free, and incredibly powerful way to boost your metabolism and improve your overall health. It might not just be about what you eat, but when you eat.
You know, it turns out your grandmother might have been right all along when she said, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Now that you know the science behind why that's so true, the only question left is, are you ready to reset your clock?